Hello, everyone. This is Chadi Alraies and SCAI 2025 in DC. I'm really privileged to be with Dr. Naidu, who is the SCAI President for this year. Harry, thanks for being with us and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
So I did an interview with Dr. Hermler a few minutes ago, and he told me about what was his vision and how much he executed. Now, with the new presidency coming, I mean, definitely you have a different strategy and vision. So can you walk us through it?
Sure. So, the first thing to say really is that SCAI is a big ship, and I've seen it grow up, so to speak, over the last 20 years that I've been involved. And there's so much going on within SCAI. And one of the jobs of a president is really to make sure that these progress, meaning that everything that is important to our society and to our members continue on that path. There was a time where when the society was smaller, people would come in as a new president and essentially have a whole new vision.
Yeah.
And that can't happen because members need to see that the same challenges we have, the same priorities that we have that are meaningful to them are continued.
Yeah.
So some of them are going to be along that vein. And then there'll be, of course, some new priorities that I'd like to focus on this year. First and foremost, Dr. Hermler did an amazing job raising a lot of interest in the fact that we as a profession need to also take care of ourselves at the same time that we take care of everybody else. And I think, all service professions feel this sense that we will do whatever we can. We won't eat, we won't go to the bathroom, we won't sleep, right? But the truth is, these things have a burden. And I think we didn't see this early in the career of interventional cardiology because it's only a 50-year career. We're the first generation that is seeing a lifespan of this field where we have to be at the table side.
Yeah.
And what does that do? That creates a lot of radiation exposure, which no matter whether the data is strong or not as strong, the truth is everybody knows that radiation will cause cancer and can cause other skin cancer, other problems, brain cancer and whatnot. So we need to minimize that. And we've always wanted to minimize that. Number two, I think the orthopedic injury is a big deal. If you ask anybody who's been doing this a while, we all have aches and pains. We all have neck and spine issues. I have some neck issues as well. Nothing that's been, laid me up or anything, but in general, I know that it's under the surface and there. And so I think we will continue this mission to fight for radiation and protection and lead-free labs. I do think that the time has come to build stronger alliances in that way. So one of the visions that I want to push forward is to move advocacy from all the fabulous work we do with PAC and the RUC and CPT coding, but also to a bigger view of building alliances. And when I say alliances, I think interventional cardiology has oftentimes felt that the main alliances that they could make would be with AHA or ACC, and maybe with the AMA a little bit in terms of lobbying. But the truth is, we are public servants. We are taking care of heart attacks, we're taking care of shock, we may be taking care of stroke, hypertension, and we're doing a lot of the management. The truth is, we need to build alliances across the broader system, okay? Meaning with state and government agencies, American Hospital Association, the insurance companies. So I'm going to be charging our advocacy committee to think a little bit more broadly about what are the levers that interventional cardiology can use in the future and how do we build those alliances? Because I think that most people that we talk to will understand what we do. What we do, not to put general cardiology down, but it's very obvious what we do. We use our hands and our brains to immediately and effectively improve somebody's life expectancy and outcome. And so that is a very powerful story that we can use to our advantage to help the public and help society at large gather together. This is very important in shock, for example. So that's one thing I want to do. Other things, so those two things really, the alliances and advocacy and also the health and wellness. In wellness, I also want to say, most people who know me know that health and wellness is a lot about health, but wellness is really a bigger issue for me. I was divorced early, so I have a young kid, and I became a single dad for a large part of my professional career, and I balanced a lot of these things at the same time. But one thing that it taught me was that you have to separate work and life. And people say they do it or they want to do it, but the truth is they don't know how to do it because they don't prioritize life in the same way they prioritize deadlines that their chief of cardiology bestows upon them. So they need to create life as the same priorities and put it in that bucket.
Yeah.
Now, life could be different things, but what it ends up being is the things that make you happy and continue to keep you who you are. And if you stay who you are, you will be more likely to not get burned out in the field. So I think that I'm charging the wellness community to talk a little bit more about that. I want people to think back about what hobbies, interests they had when they were in high school and college, and I want them to pick some of those back up, like I did. You may know I sing, and I only brought that back up the last few years, and it's been fabulous
And
for
you're
me.
athletic, you exercise all the time.
Huh?
You're athletic, you
I'm
exercise
athletic,
all the
so
time.
gym is very important
Yeah,
to me,
yeah.
going to Knicks games, spending time with my son, traveling, all these things. And people don't understand, how do you do that when you have a busy practice? The truth is you find the time because, and you force the time. You don't find it in the cracks of the job time. You create other time where that's necessary. So I think wellness is a big part for me as well. The third thing that I want to talk about is member engagement. So we spent a lot of time over the last few years determining how to get members really involved. People want to get involved, but they don't understand how. So we did two things. One is we made the election for secretary, which becomes president, a vote. So we're the only cardiovascular society where you vote for who is going to be the president. That's important because you have a stake in the game, and that way you can see, do they truly represent you? What have they done? We don't manipulate that. We will let you vote for who we feel is qualified, but then of those candidates, who will best represent you. So that's number one. Number two is we spend time discussing what are the criteria by which different members get involved in different things. So there are stages. I mean, you can't just jump to president, but you can certainly jump to a committee, and from committee to board of trustees, and there's lots of different roles. And so we put down on paper sort of what is expected at the different roles in terms of your abilities and skill sets. And I think that's very important because if you tell a member these are the things that you have to sort of get good at to get to these roles, they will go along that path. Like everything else, everything is a path and a journey. Yeah. And it shows that we really want everybody involved, but we want the right people involved.
How to get engaged in SCAI,
correct.
Right?
We want to show them what are the skill sets that would benefit SCAI, and then when you come in, what are the opportunities. So that's number two. As part of the member engagement, one thing that people may know is I founded the Emerging Leader Mentorship Program several years ago, over a decade ago. And we are now in the process of reinvesting in that for mid-careers. That's very important to me for two reasons. One is that there's a leaky pipeline for women, minorities, other people, or even everybody in the middle of the career where life gets tough, work gets tough, you don't have as much time. So you need to be able to pull these people in because they are actually the people who have the most connections and the most abilities and most experience. But number two, it always was concerning to me that if people didn't get into the ELM program, they always felt like there was no way to get back in. And it's very clear to me now, doing this a long time, that not everybody who is selected to do brilliant things ends up doing brilliant things. I mean, just like having kids, there's potential, but not always the follow through. So it's also important to look at the real world and see who is following through, who is doing amazing work like you. And say, now you can come and become part of the ELM family and you have more programming, and now you're part of ELM and you get the benefit of mid-career teaching, which is things like running major national trials or becoming a chief of cardiology or doing a higher level of social media and interviewing like you're doing. So I think that's another big part of what I want to do. And the last thing I'm going to talk about, there's more to talk about. Well, I briefly mentioned philanthropy. One thing that I thought about with SCAI was that, look, I mean, everything takes money to get moving. And what I don't want SCAI to become is that the money is very important and the money is the end in and of itself. But it is also very clear that you need to have an organization where there's enough reserves, and the reserves have to come from various sources, not just industry, and so that you can sustain the mission, sustain the staffing. So one thing we're going to be doing this year is asking members and do sort of a capital campaign and figure out, based on our strategic plan, what are the areas that people might want to invest in. And this investing is going to be stewarded so that we can show people what have we done with that money and how has it made SCAI stronger, bigger, and better over time in a much more rapid way. So I think all organizations do this. SCAI has never done this before, and just medical societies are not very good at it. But I think we're going to begin looking at the value proposition. We did hire a consultant for this. So during my year, we will roll out a philanthropic individual giving arm, which can include things like retirement accounts and insurance. Because we have an aging workforce, and many of them might want to give back to the field that gave them everything and that they're still passionate about.
Absolutely, yeah.
Last thing, people know that I'm very passionate about cardiogenic shock. And so when I came out with Dr. Barron with the SCAI shock classification 2019, then 2022, we were trying to make shock more simple, to show that first thing is diagnosis, and let's find a simple way that everybody can do. And then, of course, what's nice is that so many people got involved in shock. We have the course, we have lots of different areas of people diving deeper into the phenotypes versus the etiology versus the different devices, the larger trials. And I think we're losing a little bit of sight of the big picture again, which is, what are we really trying to do? So I've created a terminology that I'm hoping is going to catch on, called the door to lactate clearance. It's become clear to me that if you can clear the lactate within 24 hours, that all 80% of patients survive. So I want to be a little bit more agnostic to how you do it, where you do it, and what resources you have, whether you're in parts of Asia versus rural America versus a highly academic institution where you have all the resources. Find a way that your protocol will understand the hemodynamics in a timely way, get the lactate clear within 24 hours, and that will be the best way to do justice to your patient. In addition, that allows us to bring in society. By society, I mean governments. Meaning if I can tell New York State, for example, that we need to judge hospitals on whether they clear lactate within 24 hours, whether or not they have to transfer the patient, and that they're held accountable for that patient they transfer in, that's still within the first 24 hours, both hospitals are responsible for clearing the lactate. You have a feedback loop where you do a lot of different things. You improve survival, you probably decrease length of stay, and it allows people to gravitate from a purely procedural standpoint to a more intellectual shock team approach. So, door to lactate clearance, you heard it here. It'll be published in the presidential address on Saturday and Tuesday in SCAI. And I'm calling on the different courses and the different institutions and the different registries to look at the data on door to lactate clearance in 24 hours, provide the data that we can use to convince our legislatures in the different states to make this a hospital requirement. Thank you.
Yeah, Harry, was well packed. I mean, mission is going to be a busy year. Advocacy, wellness, door to lactate clearance, and philanthropy.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a big mission.
I've been planning for this. I think all presidents know they're going to be president for like 4 years later. So I'm going to try and maximize this year. But like I said before, whatever you start, future presidents will continue if it has legs. And so.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time and good luck. Watch these videos and others on the SCAI TV. This is Chadi Alraies coming to you from SCAI 2025 in DC.